Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode was sparked by a comment from one of my athletes, and I know that I personally can relate to this, and I'm sure that many of you listening can relate as well. So, I received a message from one of my athletes who recently ran the London Marathon, and she has been recovering really well, feeling good, back to some easy running and not having any issues, right? But the message to me was that she was feeling a bit adrift without marathon training. And she has said this to me previously after marathon training cycles in the past, and I have felt this as well. Something feels off after you finish a big training cycle. It doesn't have to be for a marathon, it can be for any distance or any big goal that you just trained for and you worked really hard. Sometimes the hardest part of a training cycle may not be the training itself, it's what comes afterward in terms of the feelings that you experience. And I think this is something that we don't talk about nearly enough. So I thought I would do an episode about that. Okay, so let's start with why this feeling is normal. Marathon training and training cycles provide structure, right? So during training, we know the run that's scheduled for tomorrow, what long run is coming up this weekend, what race we're preparing for. Training answers the question, what should I be doing today? And for physicians and the busy professionals I coach, and for me personally, this structure feels very comforting. Why does it feel comforting? I think it's the predictability, it's the sense of progress that you get while you're going through the training cycle. It's also wrapped up in identity. You are someone training for X race. You are training for a half marathon. You are training for a marathon. And then suddenly we finish the training cycle and we have no workouts on the schedule, no long runs, no race countdown, no training peaks, no final surge, right? The structure just poof disappears and it's the end of a season. I love one of my athletes, Jamie. We joke about this because when there's no training on the schedule, she asks when I'm going to final surge her again. I write my training plans in an app called Final Surge, and so that has become a verb. When am I going to final surge her? So we've established that it feels comforting to us very high achievers to have a training plan, and it feels uncomfortable to not have a training plan. Next, I want to talk about the achievement trap. We have, as very high achieving professionals, we are accustomed to exams and training programs and milestones in our careers, promotions, and that translates really well to race goals and run training. There's always seemingly another target, right? We keep moving the finish line on ourselves, and many of us become more comfortable pursuing goals than simply being and existing between the goals. So I have two questions for you to consider. These are deep questions here. So if you're in the car, just ponder for a minute. If you are on a run, ponder for more than a minute. My two questions are, one, can you enjoy running when you're not training for something? And the second question is, can movement still have value if it isn't preparing you for a race? I think this is the real challenge here. The discomfort isn't the absence of training, it's the absence of a clear objective. So we can reframe this a little bit. You know that I'm all about reframing. So we're going to talk about what the off season actually is for and reframe it a little bit. The off season is not nothing, okay? It's a different phase of training, a different phase of life. And there are many benefits to the off season. Those include physical recovery, mental recovery, and I'm going to say a third thing, which is exploration of some new things. So, physically, after a very big training cycle, we need the physical rest for our muscles and tendons and bones and our nervous system. We need all of those things to heal, and we need a period of rest and recovery that's necessary physically. Mentally, there is some freedom from not having a constant focus on performance and a constant focus on the next run on the training plan. There is less mental load, less pressure, and this provides some space to actually miss running and miss training, which helps for the next training cycle down the road. So, physical recovery, mental recovery, and then exploration. What I mean by that is maybe this time provides you a chance to check out some new walking routes, some hiking trails. Maybe you haven't been strength training as much as you'd like to. Maybe you like other sports. You like cycling, you like swimming, you like tennis, walking with friends. This gives you the space and time to be able to do those things that maybe you weren't able to have the time and ability to do in the middle of a training cycle, especially with marathon training. So, questions to ask yourself about how to shape this off season for you. One, what sounds fun? Two, what feels restorative? And three, what have I been putting off during this past training cycle? I will also add here for more off-season planning. I did an episode way back, episode 33, which is called Between Races, Making the Most of Your Running Off Season. And I'm going to link that in the show notes if you would like to hear more. Now, I'm going to call the last part of this episode Finding Your Compass Instead of Following a Map. So, during a training cycle, especially during endurance training cycles for a half marathon or a full marathon, or something like a half Ironman or an Ironman race, the plan is the map, right? And I want us to think about between the training cycles, instead of having a map, we need a compass. What is that compass for you? It could be something as simple as joy or curiosity, maybe connection with others, or adventure. Maybe it's rest. I can't answer what that compass is for you, but if nobody was tracking your pace, mileage, or race results, how would you choose to move your body this week? So I would like you to sit with that question for a minute, that if nobody was looking over your shoulder, run coach included, how would you choose to move your body and what do you enjoy doing? This really goes back to, I think, your running why and your movement why. And sometimes we lose sight of that because we're so focused on the goal in the training cycle. So if you're feeling adrift after a race or at the end of a training cycle, I would just like to offer that it doesn't mean that you've lost momentum. This is so hard for type A high achievers. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're falling behind. We're simply in a moment, a chapter, a transition, and transitions often feel uncomfortable. And so the work here is getting comfortable with this uncomfortable feeling of not having something on the calendar every day, not having a training plan, maybe not having a race on the calendar. I know in the past I have been guilty of seemingly always having a race on the calendar. I know some of my colleagues at work will ask, "So, Michelle, what do you have on the calendar? You always have something and another event on the calendar coming up." And the work for me is really giving myself the freedom to maybe not always have something on the calendar, not have a race that I'm working toward, and to really have an off season. And that has been a work in progress for me. When I started running back in 2012, 2013, I was definitely guilty after we got hooked after that first 5K. I signed up for a lot of races those first couple of years. And after I ran my first half marathon, I signed up for 3 more half marathons in a very short period of time. And so I think this space between goals and this space between races is often where we can reconnect with why we started running in the first place. Before we close it out, I want to give you 3 questions to reflect on, especially if you are in this off season right now. And if you're not in the off season, just save this episode and come back to it when you are, because it may hit differently at that point in the future. So the 3 questions are: number 1, what did this past training cycle give me? Number 2, what did I learn about myself during this training cycle? And number 3, what do I need most in this next season or in this off season? I think that last question is probably the most important one. And again, if you'd like some more planning tools for your running off season, head on back to episode 33, which I'll link in the show notes. And then last but not least, I just want to give an update on some happenings in Mindful Marathon. Number 1, if you are a Run Disney runner, as a new offering in Mindful Marathon, I'm going to be offering customized Run Disney training plans, starting with the Wine and Dine race weekend, which is coming up this October. So if you are running Wine and Dine, especially the half marathon or the challenge, our training begins in just a couple of weeks in July. If you'd like to learn more about those Run Disney offerings, head over to the link in the show notes. And then number 2, if you are local to the Philadelphia area, I'm going to be at the Roadrunner Sports in King of Prussia on Sunday, July 12th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're having a summer pop-up event there, and I'm going to be offering free 20-minute personalized coaching consults. So if you are feeling stuck with your summer running, if you are preparing for a fall race, or if you're looking for guidance on how to train more effectively and sustainably, head on over to the link in the show notes to sign up. It is free, but you have to RSVP, and there's only 9 slots given the time constraints. So please sign up to reserve your time slot early, and I will see you there. So that's all I have for you today. As always, if you have questions about the episode, or if you have ideas or questions for future episodes, please send them my way. I love hearing from you. And have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again next Monday. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.